Hi everyone, welcome to South Central Vinyl. Today I'm going to show and talk about the first 10 records that I bought and that were added to my collection. I started collecting records around the end of 2013. I didn't at that time have a job, didn't have a lot of expendable income, and I picked up records where I could. So this is the first 10 that I purchased, and yeah, let's get started. The first one was The Top by The Cure, which originally came out in 1984. This is a copy from the time. It's a standard black vinyl. I picked this up on eBay for I think £3 or £4. It was really not a lot of money at the time. You know, vinyl hadn't really spiked as it has in recent years. It's a really decent copy. Couple of scuffs on one side, but nothing that really affected playback. I remember being absolutely delighted with it. The first track on the album, Shake Dog Shake, love it. Yeah, picked it up because it was cheap, basically. It was, you know, the start of my collection. I was into The Cure, listening to them a lot, and that's the reason why. Following that up, you know, barely weeks after that, I picked up Japanese Whispers, which is a kind of singles collection from the similar time, just before the release of The Top. You know, the songs Let's Go to Bed, Love Cats. Again, it was an eBay purchase. Picked it up because I love The Cure and because I was able to get it for £3 or £4. The next here is Graffiti de Blanc by The Police, which I suspect is in the first 10 of quite a few people from a similar kind of time for collecting as me, because these records are everywhere and you can pick them up for not a lot of money. This was in kind of good to very good condition, missing the insert. It's a standard on A&M Records. Just a great album, Message in a Bottle. Probably the outstanding track, but just a really great album and a great introduction to them for me, because I kind of went on a whim, and I'm glad I did, because I really got into The Police after that. So the first album I bought from new is Joy Division's Closer. This was a reissue done a couple of years before I started collecting. I love this album, and I was able to pick up a new copy for, you know, again, a bargain kind of price, and it was a really formative album for me. Joy Division were really formative for me, and this is a great album, particularly the second side of the album, which just is fantastic. Starts with Heart and Soul and just goes all the way through the range of dynamics that Joy Division have to offer to the end of decades. A really great album, and worthy of being the first album that I bought from new. Following on from that, I've got New Order's Technique, which I picked up, I think, in a charity shop, of all places. This was, again, you know, 2014 sort of time I picked this up. Records still hadn't really gotten to the point in value that they have now, so this was not expensive at all. It's an original 1989 copy with the insert. Favourite tracks on this album, probably Dream Attack, which is the closer, Fine Time, which is the opener. By this point they were kind of moving past their peak commercially, but a really great album. Heading back a little bit, the next one was Ghost in the Machine by The Police. By this point I had enjoyed my earlier purchase and had really gotten into The Police, and I was able to pick this up. This is my favourite Police album. It came with the insert, which I think is a really cool insert. and I just fell in love with this album and listened to it, spun it a lot. Invisible Sun, probably my favourite track on the album. Really love it. I just used to loop it, play it over and over again. It's an original pressing. Again, I was able to pick them up pretty cheaply at the time. The first big vinyl purchase, the first purchase that was more than £10 was this. This is Manic Street Preachers, The Holy Bible, the 2014 anniversary edition. It came in a box which includes the vinyl as well as a bunch of CDs, the original album remastered, the US mix of the album, a B-side CD and a live CD. That's the insert for the LP itself. The album itself on heavyweight vinyl. This was, I think, retailed at around £50, and I was so in love with this album at the time that it was just a no-brainer. There was no other way to get it on vinyl that I could find that was affordable. I picked it up, and this remained, and still is, one of the most important records in my collection. Absolutely adore the album. It's really dark, really powerful. Just a great release. This box set version with the booklet, with the lyrics and the art and the photography is stunning. A very important album for me. Next up I have The Smiths, Me Is Murder, which I picked up not too long after The Holy Bible. I was really into post-punk, as you've probably already gathered, you know, post-punk and new wave at this point in my life. This is a really great album. This is the reissue of the 1984 classic. It was just issued on a standard kind of black vinyl, kind of replicating the original release on, you know, the labels and, you know, the artwork and the sleeves. It sounded really good. I'm really pleased with it. I still have not replaced it with an original, even though I could, because it just sounds good. So the Murderburgers, How to Ruin Your Life. In 2014 I went to see Alkaline Trio at Portsmouth Pyramids, and the support band were this Scottish pop punk band. They were high energy, really fun to watch, and I was so taken with them that I went and bought their album. So this is it, this is How to Ruin Your Life. It's the first album by the band The Murderburgers. They're sadly now defunct, but this is still a really fun album, start to finish. It was released on Asian Man. It came on a transparent blue vinyl, and they were so great. Really enjoyed them. Really unique sound. Well worth checking out if you've never heard of them. And following on from that, after listening to some of the Murderburgers, I was kind of recommended the Kimberley Stakes, which this is To Live and Die in West Central Scotland, their first album, and this became one of the albums of that year for me. I listened to it over and over again. Kind of hard to explain, again, what they sound like. Kind of a Scottish Green Day is the classic line that's used about them. I thought the artwork was great, you know, the Broke Lads rather than Ladbrokes there, and just really cool idea for, you know, the artwork. The record itself on a standard black. It flows really well start to finish, and has got, you know, really fast dynamic moments, and it's also got some kind of slower moments. The final track on the album itself, To Live and Die in West Central Scotland, is really great, and it runs that whole range of dynamics. Yeah, a really good album, really underrated little band. They are still going. I think they work, they do the band part-time amongst, you know, their jobs. Their second album came out a couple of years ago and is also absolutely worth picking up. So if you haven't heard of them, do go and check them out. And that was number 10, that was the 10th album. So that's my first 10 records. Let me know in the comments what your first record purchases were. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one.